Hi all, welcome to my channel. I'm Will Wyvern. Today I want to talk about something that several people have asked about and something I love talking about: ancestral work, working with our ancestors. Now, as always, these are my thoughts, my beliefs, my opinions. This is what works for me. Everybody's going to be different. And saying that, some people are not going to be successful working with their ancestors. It's just how it goes. Some people have skills to work with their ancestors. Some people have that gift, and other people will not be able to work with their ancestors. The trick is find what you are successful with, train, practice, and you're going to get better at it. If you are good at ancestral work, that to me is a blessing. There are different levels of ancestral work. There are some people, like I said, who cannot hear their ancestors. And on the other end of the spectrum, there are people who can actually speak to their ancestors and get answers back. People who can have two-way communication with their ancestors. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can see my ancestors. I can feel my ancestors. I can feel their presence. I cannot converse with them. I can ask them questions. I can ask for their guidance. I can just enjoy being in the same space with them. And that's what I call going to the realm of my ancestors, where I just sit quietly, enjoy the fellowship. Let my ancestors show me what they want to. If they know that I need help, if they know that I need guidance, then they can share that with me. And the key thing to remember, our ancestors do not want to be forgotten. They do not want all their accomplishments, all their hard work, everything they've done. They don't want it to be forgotten. And that's a sad thing. In today's day and age, if you ask somebody who their parents are, they can tell you. If you ask them who their grandparents or their great-grandparents are, sometimes they'll just look at you and go, I don't know. And that's sad. We should all make the effort to at least acknowledge we have ancestors. Acknowledge the hard work and the struggle, everything they did, because if they didn't succeed, if they weren't successful, you wouldn't be here today. The reason you're here is because they were able to feed their family, they were able to take care of their family, and you are their family. You are descended from your ancestors, and we all need to acknowledge that. Like I said, not everyone's going to be successful in doing ancestral work, but everyone can honor your ancestors. And the way you can honor your ancestors is just by acknowledging them. And that could be something as simple as buying a little skull to put on your altar whenever you do ritual or ceremony work. It could be something like having a keepsake or an heirloom from your great-grandparents, or something that's been passed down from generation to generation. A ring, a watch, just something that's been passed down. And by using that item or holding that item, that's a way of acknowledging the gift from your ancestors. All our ancestors want to do is be remembered. They want us to remember them. And they want us to take advantage of their knowledge, take advantage of their experiences, take advantage of their, how they failed and how they succeeded. They don't want to see us struggle. And that's something let me touch on. Everyone has different beliefs in what happens when we die. What happens to our ancestors. I believe that our ancestors carry on. Their experiences, their knowledge, it doesn't go away. It goes somewhere. Either a big library in the sky, just in the universe, here on Earth. Somewhere that knowledge, that experience, it goes somewhere else. It continues. I don't believe we just die, all those experiences die with us, all that knowledge dies with us. I believe it carries on. when we acknowledge our ancestors and when we tell them that we want to communicate with them. We want to hear messages. We want their guidance. We want their knowledge. Like I said, some people some people can't talk to their ancestors, but you can always listen. You can open yourself, be receptive to messages they want to send us. And you can do that through tarot cards and crystal balls and other means of scrying. For me, it's as simple as putting my hand on a skull, because that's how I connect with my ancestors. And let me tell you why skulls are important to me. Years ago, I saw a documentary on Celtic peoples, ancient Celtic people, and when someone died, the ground was so rocky they couldn't bury their ancestors. They're dead. So what they would do was they would build these stands, and they would place the body of the deceased on that stand, and they would let the seabirds pick the body clean, eat all the flesh, the skin, the muscle, and leave the large bones behind. They'd carry off the small bones or eat the small bones. But the things like the skulls, the ribs, the pelvic, those things would be left behind. And then our ancestors would collect those bones, and sometimes they would put them in their homes. Sometimes they would make a sacred space, a cave or something with all the bones, and then the holy person in the tribe, the shaman, the witch, whoever, the spiritual leader, would go in that space and commune with the bones. Use those bones to communicate with the deceased, to get guidance, to get advice, to get knowledge that our ancestors knew didn't go away. That knowledge went somewhere. So that's why I use skulls. That's why I have skulls in everything that I do. For me, it's a way to connect. With you, you might find another way. Like I said, it might be an heirloom, a piece of jewelry, a photograph. It could be anything. For me, it's skulls. Everybody's different. Explore, experiment, find what works for you. But the key takeaway from this message today is make sure you acknowledge your ancestors. Don't forget your ancestors. Open yourself to the messages they want to give us, the guidance they want to give us. And like I said, it could be as simple as just putting something on your altar, and you don't even have to really think about it. Just kind of look at it, when you're casting a spell, or when you're looking for healing, or when you just want to meditate and relax. Just do that, glance to your item that makes you think of your ancestors, and just kind of smile and nod and say, yes, I acknowledge my ancestors. I acknowledge what they did. The realm of my ancestors, I'll just touch on this quick. It's a place I go, I meditate, and I imagine it's just somewhere where it's very cloudy. It may be gray, white, it might be black, but it's just a empty space, cliffs in the distance, maybe some trees. Every time I go, it's different. And sometimes I'll just go and sit, not ask any questions, not go expecting anything. I'll just go and sit, and I'll let my ancestors circle around me, float above me, pass by me. It's my way of just wanting to commune and be with my ancestors, to thank them for all they've done. Sometimes my ancestors will show me a vision. Sometimes they'll show me something they're proud of. Like one of the last times I went, I was sitting quietly, just enjoying the fellowship with my ancestors, and one of my ancestors came up and he shared a vision with me of him sitting around a fire with all his descendants. He had 2 or 3 wives, their children, and he just kind of looked at me like, this is what I've done. This is where you came from. This is your history. And that was it. It was no message. It was no guidance. It was just he wanted to show me how proud he was of what he'd done, how he accomplished having all these children, and he could feed them, he could care for them. So sometimes that's all our ancestors want to do. Like I said, they don't want to be forgotten. So don't forget your ancestors. Just take a couple minutes a day, Just acknowledge their hard work that they did, what they've done for you. Now, some people use ancestral energies or ancestral magic to cast spells or to enhance their rituals. Now, I don't do that, but I know some people who do. I know, like you call on your god, your goddess for an energy. You call on the moon. You call on the trees. You call on the wind. You call on a source of your energy. And some people call on their ancestors for that source of energy. If that's something you want to try, it doesn't work for me, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. That's something else you can try. Call on your ancestors for energy. If you need energy to fuel a spell, ask your ancestors. Ask your ancestors for that energy and see how that works. It may work, it may not. It's just something to explore and experiment. As I always say, you get out of magic what you put into magic. If you're someone who doesn't practice magic, if you're just a pagan, a heathen, a Wiccan who doesn't practice magic, you just like doing rituals for healing or rituals for guidance, ancestral work is great because it's not calling on magic. You can just, your ancestors' blood is in you now. You carry the DNA of your ancestors. You can go back generations and that DNA is passed down. I did a video on my DNA journey, so I won't talk about it too much. But I recommend everyone doing a DNA test. The rewards of doing that DNA test were incredible. I found out things I never would have known. I did not know I am almost 20% Scandinavian. I did not know I was more Celtic, Irish, Scottish, English than I was. The DNA test revealed so many things. Be prepared for surprises. Be prepared to be shocked. But it made sense to me when I found out that my blood is so Scandinavian, because some of the visions I had, some of the things I felt didn't make sense to what I thought was my heritage. And after I did the DNA test, I found out, oh, my heritage is a lot different than I thought. So that'll help you in your ancestral work. It's like now I'm starting to study more Scandinavian history. I'm starting to learn about the Scandinavian gods and goddesses that my ancestors may have worshipped. So that ties me and brings me closer to that ancestral bond. And to me, that is very rewarding. Now, ancestral work isn't for anyone, for everyone. You may not feel as close to or as strongly about your ancestors. That is fine. You practice what what works for you. But I recommend at least trying a little bit of ancestral work, because once you acknowledge your ancestors, once you thank your ancestors and let them know you're receptive to their guidance, you may be surprised what you find out. You may be surprised how much your ancestors want to help you, how successful you will become in your everyday life. So open yourself to your ancestors. That is my thoughts, beliefs on ancestral work. I hope you try it. I hope you're successful. If not, you tried, move on to something else. But that's all I have to say about that. I wish you the best. I wish you blessings, and I hope your day and night are fantastic. Samhain is coming up. I am so excited. I hope you are. Anyway, be well and blessings.